you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Julia and I decided to go on a weight loss journey at the beginning of this year. The first 2 months didn't work really well because I didn't know what I was doing and I didn't know where I want to go. But then from March on I had a coach for a few months and I really had a plan and committed to it. So I've already lost 27 pounds so far, but I like to make some updates every 5 pounds because there's so much happening that I find it really hard to keep up with it, and I really like to do these videos. So this is gonna be the update on how I got from losing 20 pounds to 25. What surprises me over and over again is that you can't rush things. Things take time, and especially if you want to really change things in your life and not just like doing a diet, it takes time. Your body needs time and also your mind needs time to learn new things. And I definitely was stuck in between with several weeks where nothing really happened. And I say nothing really happened, but it's actually not true because I weigh myself every day. It's not for everyone, but I think it's a good tool, and usually I calculate the average at the end of the week, and usually even the weeks where it looks like I'm plateauing, I don't. I usually still lose weight, maybe just 0.3 pounds that week, but it's still a loss. It's very interesting to see how my mind often will tell me this is not good enough, but then I say, look at that, I lost 0.3 pounds this week. I lost something, so I'm on the right track. So here are the things that I found very important in this 5 pound period. At the moment, I see quite a lot of people at work trying to lose weight with very different approaches. I think the most healthy of them was intermittent fasting. And I remember we had a discussion about it, and I said I did that before and it felt awful. I eat my breakfast quite late. I usually eat like at 9 or 10, and I will have my dinner at 5 or 6 p.m. So usually I do kind of like intermittent fasting, just not so strict as other people do with like 16 hours or something. I know that doesn't work for me. I have tried it and I don't feel comfortable with it. But I also saw a colleague who lost like, I think, almost 20 pounds within a few weeks, and he did that by working out a lot every day and eating less, and I really could see how my mind started spinning like, oh, you are so slow, you needed several months to reach that, and this is not good enough, maybe you should change your approach. But I also know that this is gonna be tough to sustain because now this person is back at work, so you just can't keep up with the same workout approach as he did at that time, and I just had to realize that this is not an approach that works for me. And then I also had another colleague who tried shakes, drinking shakes at lunch instead of eating, and it was really hard for me not to say anything because I felt so sorry, because I thought this is actually the worst to take shakes because they don't change anything. They give you the idea that you can lose weight, but it's mostly just water weight, and you don't change anything in your diet, in your behavior, in your mindset. And then in addition, these shakes taste just so awful. I think I've tried one shake in my life when I was like 15 or 16, and it was just so awful. I feel sorry for everyone who's drinking that voluntarily. No, it's just awful. But in the end, I had to remind myself, everyone is doing their thing and they have to find out what works for them. I have realized that a lot of diets don't work for me. I know that intermittent fasting, at least in a very strict way, doesn't work for me. And for me, it helps so much to plan my food and change it little by little, tweaking it here and there. And I know I will reach my goal that way. I always said that, and I probably will go say that in every video. Planning ahead is the biggest key to success, in my opinion. It helps me so much to write a 24-hour plan. I usually do it in the morning. I write down what I'm gonna eat for the rest of the day, and sometimes I have to change it because something happens. Sometimes that plan doesn't work out because I've forgotten that we go out for lunch or that I had a meeting. But in most of the time, I'm able to keep it. Especially like candy and stuff, it is still kind of tricky. I have to deal with a lot of urges to not eat when I haven't planned for it. But I definitely can see a difference. It has gotten so much better with like having these plans in place. And I also got the fitness happy planner, and then having my whole week written out with like my plans, my weight, my exercises, and then setbacks and victories or other things that I thought about that I have like journaled in here. It really helps me much to see how the week is going. And I feel like since I have the planner, and I think I've had it for like 3 or 4 weeks, it definitely has changed a lot. I feel like I'm so much better in the game now that I have a better overview, and sometimes that's just what you need. Just find the right tool for you to work on, and it's good to try different things, because I also tried the daily planner from Blogilates and that didn't work out at all. Although I had so much more space to write, I think I really needed like the weekly view, and that might be something that works for you as well. I feel like it is so easy to get discouraged if things don't work out. But the important thing is actually just try a new approach. So this is my weight loss journey journal. So every Sunday when I do my weekly review, I look at the data, like how much weight I've lost, how often I worked out, how often I wrote down a food plan, how often did I journal, how did my night routine go. It is really important to find the things that are important for you to track. Habits that will help you on your way. But I also used it to write down my victories of the week, my setbacks, how I'm gonna overcome them, and then having a focus for the next week. And something that I've changed in the past weeks was that I also reviewed the focus that I had for the past week in the new one, and check if it went well or not, and if not, why. To also like to celebrate that, but also to learn from mistakes. I also realized that my night routines don't work as well as they did before, and I think it's mostly because of daylight savings. And I just can see if I start my night routine at 9 p.m. I'm already too tired to actually do the things that I had planned, and that's usually for me to tidy up, to study a bit, and to do yin yoga and read. So it is actually not much, but I can see that the motivation is very low and that my energy level is higher right after dinner. So I changed it from night routine to after dinner routine, so I know what I'm gonna do then, and I just have to go to bed in time. But so that's something I changed just to get me back into doing night routines, and so far it works really well. I also changed what I'm studying. I usually have any kind of like workbook that I work through in the night, but because I'm a big fan of the No BS weight loss program, I decided to listen to a podcast and then writing notes. But I realized it wasn't what I really liked and enjoyed. I rather have something to read and then journaling about it and answering questions. So that's why I started with the Food and Feelings workbook, which has a lot of questions and is about feeling your feelings instead of eating them. I think there's still a lot of room to learn, and I think it's like 200 pages, so I probably will sit with this book for quite a while. So I think it's just important to learn to change something if it doesn't work. I mean, your brain just tries to keep you safe, so often doesn't want you to change, and it's really important to not listen to that, to all these kind of things like, oh, this is not good enough, you should do more, this is not perfect, this should be working, you're broken. All these kind of things will not help you at all. You just have to push it to the side and say, but today I do this and this because it will help me on my journey. And if it's not working, we will try something else. 2 months ago, I started again working out at the gym, and I had the goal of going 3 times a week. And I realized that was too ambitious because I do not like to train when I'm sore. I think it is a sign of my body that now you need a break, and I will first go back to workout class when I don't feel sore anymore. And that led usually to me going only twice a week to the gym. And in the beginning, I was really hard on myself. I thought like, well, but you have been training like 5 times a week before. Why is that such a problem now? But when I actually looked into my gym app and saw how I trained years before, it was often like I trained very hard for a few weeks, like 4 or 5 weeks. I would like go 4 to 6 times a week. And then there would be like several weeks where nothing happened. And now I look at my statistics and it says I have been working out 2 or 3 times every week for the past 8 weeks. And that is such an accomplishment, and it's so fantastic to see how consistency over time really makes a difference. And I also see that my brain doesn't fight with me anymore, because usually my brain would be able to talk me out of going to the gym. I would feel like, you don't feel so well today. You can just stay home. And then I wouldn't go. And now I don't even have these thoughts anymore. I just pack my gym bag and I go, and it's that easy. But it took time, and you just have to start where you're at and build up from there. I also thought that I share some of my setbacks in this period, and it's mostly still overeating. Especially on Friday nights, it was a bit difficult to find out what it was, what's actually happening with Friday nights. But it's probably mostly the thought like, oh, Friday is so long, and oh, I should be going out and dance in the club instead of being here alone. And then I would eat, and I had like, I think 3 times in a row where I would overeat, and then it was kind of like a break because I had a birthday coming up. And last Friday I managed to feel quite lonely that night, but not to eat. And it's mostly also because I've started my urge jar again, this time with coffee beans. If you don't know what the urge jar is, the idea is that every time you manage to allow an urge, so it means you feel the urge in your body, but you don't react to it. You don't go and eat, or in other cases, like you don't go and smoke or buy new shoes or scream at somebody. Instead, you will use 1 coffee bean and put it in your jar. And over time, things will change. The goal is to reach 100 urges, to allow them. And I mean, there are just 17 beans in here yet, but I definitely can see just having this on my desk and see it here and knowing, okay, you can take a coffee bean instead of eating. It makes a difference. But there are also some victories I want to share, and one of them is, and I feel like that was definitely a mental block. I wasn't ready for it yet, and that was I went to a birthday dinner and decided to order a salad. And for me, there was a lot of drama around it before, because I was all like, when I go out, I want to have fun and I want to have good food and not a salad. And I did it anyway because I really wanted to reach my next goal, and it wasn't such a big of a deal. I still ate a little bit pizza, so I still can get better at it, but just knowing that I have managed to do it and that I can do it next time again if I need to, it really felt like a mental block came off. And this is a new thing that I could do if I want to. I also realized that I fit into my old winter jacket again. I also have a few clothes that fit again, and some of my pants feel very loose, and also like this sweater is very loose, but it's nice for winter, so it will be okay. But probably next year I will give it away because it's very loose now. So now we have like 6 weeks left. I'm at 156 and I would like to reach 150 at the end of the year. it will but depend on like how much candy and chocolate and good food is around in the Christmas time, but I still want to try, and I feel very determined to plan my food and also enjoy it, but also trying to reach the next goal, and definitely losing 30 pounds for this year, which was kind of like the goal for this year. So I will continue working with my foods and feelings workbook. I also work to fill up this urge jar with, well, it would be good if I would have like 40 urges allowed at the end of the year. And I also want to try to go to the gym a little bit more often. It doesn't have to be 3 times every week, but I want to try it in between, because I see I'm not as sore anymore as I was the first week. So I think now it makes more possible to go like on Monday and then Wednesday and then Saturday, but we'll see what my body tells me, but I will definitely try. And I hope this video gave you some insights or inspiration how you could start your weight loss journey or continue with it.